Hi, it's Lel from Made by Marley, and today I've got some really exciting stuff to show you. I have been very fortunate to have been sent all the way from America to the UK two of the new IOD stamps, and I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to be doing with this one today. This is the Bella stamp, and it is right up my alleyway. This is a close-up of it, and it's awesome. So using the Bella stamp, I am going to be doing this vintage pantry cupboard, and I've already kind of set the scene with some of the paints. Ink your stamp. Make sure you get plenty of paint onto it, especially if you've used chalk paint, because it absorbs the paint really well. Make sure you've got it the right way up. And I want it to this, I need to put my glasses on. That might help. I want it to this edge here. Don't shift it. Always keep one hand on it, holding it where it is at all times, and then use your other hand to go round it. Just making sure that you're pushing down on all the corners and edges. Yeah? Like that. Now, I kept this on the mount to do this one because this one's quite thin and it was easier, and I cut it slightly just to get rid of the excess. Just have a wee peek, making sure you've got it all. And there we go. And on the side, I've done this one on the bottom. So I'm just going to stamp up my little circle, my little floral. Now there's lots of elements in this stamp that you can, and we'll get to use those as we go, but at the moment I'm using the biggest pattern. Make sure you line it up. Now this really would look amazing on, you know, walls, floors, interior design. It's a lovely big stamp which lends itself to bigger pieces. So this is why I kind of chose this one, because there's quite a lot of real estate. It's got the sides. And we are just looking for this part here. It's fabulous to use. I've already had a fiddle about with it, so. Don't shift it. And I don't want to push down any further than that, or it's going to go into this border here, which I'm actually going to paint. So, got a creak in my neck. There we go. That's that. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to always stamp on a hard surface. If not, if you're stamping on a carpet and you work in a studio, then your stamp will not all be inked properly. Now we need to line this up with this one. Again. So I'm just going to go on and fill this part, and then we'll get to this door, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this door. So I've done this part now, and if you were going for a black and white sort of look, or you were doing walls, then this looks absolutely perfect. The stamp comes with, the Bella stamp comes with this, which means you could stamp this, and this could be your centres. You could again use this one and put it in here, and it comes with some fantastic corners, which I'm probably going to use next up on, you know, for corners. So, but what I'm going to do for this panel is, instead of coming up and down that way, because it's about the right size, I'm going to go down with my circle this way, and I'm probably going to do the same in this one here. No, actually I'll just put it in the centre of this one here. So it's the same principle. Ink up your stamp, and I'm leaving my centres blank because I'm going to do something in there. I'm leaving that as a little bit of a surprise. So again, make sure you push, always one hand holding it so it doesn't shift and move and you don't have a nice image. And when this prints out, it has a really sort of cool, sort of distressed look. And this is why I'm going for a sort of old-fashioned, it goes with the piece, so I'm going to do like old-fashioned vintage wallpaper. So I'm going to just go and I'm going to stamp this. Yeah. So I'm just going to go and do the next one here and the part here, and then we'll talk about what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I'm just carrying on with, I've got a little corner one here. There's a bigger corner one if you've got something that, but I thought that it's going to get a little bit busy with, I've put that one there, so we'll do this one on the corners. Plus it makes it maybe less complicated when you go to, well, if you're intending to paint it in and do what I've done. If you're not intending to paint it in, then it doesn't make any odds. Don't need corners at the bottom of there. So what we're going to do with the drawers, let's have a look. I'll do one big one in this bottom cupboard. And I'm just going to put it right in the middle. So I'm just eyeballing this. Same rules apply. Make sure that you've touched every part of your stamp. One hand holding it, making sure that it's not shifting. There we go. So I'm happy with that. Making sure I've got those edges here and here. Have a wee peek and see if it's what you're looking for. And there we go. So I have this small corner, I think. See, I want to carry my circle because I've got circles on this side and I've got circles up there. I really think I should, even though they're not quite going to fit on, or I could go for, now that could be quite nice. It's kind of going a different direction from the side, so I think I'll go with the circle. And I can just do a half stamp on both sides. And then we have to work out what we're doing with the drawers. Now, as I said, this would look absolutely stunning now with these. You could paint the inside, stamp this. You could stamp alternately here. You know, it's loads of scope. I think you could do this forever and a day and not come up with the same design. And well, now there's a tiny little gap between there and there where I'm not fussed on. Now you shouldn't really do this, but I just don't want it. And even though I'm going to be painting, it's still, I'll just put a little bit of ink on there and see if I can move it up slightly. Yeah. Okay, for the next part, you're going to need to decide on your colours. I've chosen a corally red and a green. And what I've done is I've just, with an artist brush, just painted round. Now, I've left gaps. This is going to give it that aged sort of the era sort of time. I haven't, been perfect in my painting. Don't worry if you've gone over the white. I've only given it one coat. We're going to put some wax and age all these things when we're done. And if there's any boo-boos like this on the side, don't worry about those, because these door frames are going to be painted round. So to show you what colours I did and how I did it, I just literally got my coral paint. So the next thing I did was, it's a custom green, it's this sort of colour, and you want that a little bit more watery. I mean, I'm using the lid just to water it down with my artist brush, because that's going to help your chalk paint run better into these lines. And I chose to do the inside line. So all I did was painted down. And as I said, you don't need to be really hugely exact. And I just painted this line here. So I am going to actually just repeat this whole process up here. So all this will be the coral and this line will be the green. And on the sides, I just completely left these circles just now. Okay, so I'll go on and paint the whole of this and then we'll get to the exciting part. So it's all painted in now. And this is the stage in your work where it always looks kind of worse before it gets better. So now we're going to pull it all together, and the most exciting way that I'm going to do this and make it end up looking like it's an old vintage sort of yellowed sort of cabinet is I am going to cut up parts of the New Paradise inlays and I am going to apply them to the centres of each one of these. So I've already done the other side, so I'll just show you quickly what I did. So I just picked any bits with the tails. You'll find the other part of the bird on the other sheet, so you know, keep them because you can put a full bird together from those. So I was just cutting it out, and I've got this kind of creamy yellow because this is what I'm going to age all the white with. And like when you apply inlays anywhere else, now I want this to go right to here, to the edges of here. It can be quite thin at the edges, just kind of like it's kind of got a bit dirty. And then I want a nice thick, but not too thick, even layer for where my inlays are going to be positioned. So I'm happy with that. And I'm going to apply it this way, I think. So flatten it off, make sure there's no wrinkles, and embed it down with your hand. And when you're happy with it, you've got it stuck down like that. Take your damp cloth and just, some people spritz them. I do it multiple ways, but this is the way that I find, sorry, this cabinet's really bangy. This is the way I find that works best with me. Okay, so I've put the inlays on the front, they're all on and drying. Now I need to work out what I'm going to do with the drawers, and with the drawers I'm just simply going to put the inlay pattern on. So I've painted this one red, so that'll be my colour underneath my birds, and I'm going to put a little bit of floral as well and hope that my positioning will be something like where the handle, and we'll maybe just bypass them. We're going to maybe lose their wee bits of their tails, so I'm going to put that in there like that. And you have to keep maybe moist. And all these pieces and parts I've just used up as I've went along, so I'm just going to do something like this. A little bit of red, like that, and pop that there. Wet cloth. And wet cloth, and I'm just going to do the drawer above, and then what I'm going to do is, off camera, I'm just going to move around to this side and I'm going to start doing exactly the same thing on that other side while this is all drying, so that we can move on to the next stage. Okay, the whole piece has been done now, sides, both sides and the front, and now I'm on the last sort of finishing touches. Now if you see here, what I've done is I've dry brushed just to age it, and I've given it some sanding, which I'll show you in a minute, and I've sanded around here and distressed some of the edges, and I'm just going to show you what I did on this piece here. So a little brush. Now you need to offload it, you can't have, and it's that sort of creamy colour that I'm going for, and all I did was I just brushed this. I think we could do with it being a little bit more orangey. I just brushed this all over the piece. Try to keep it in one direction. Now on this one I've done some stamping here and here, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And Oh, my brush is needing offloaded a bit more. That's better. It's just to kind of soften this line, and it gives it a sort of more sort of aged sort of look that you're kind of looking for. Now I stamped with the big one that goes in the middle here, 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 and here, and just put the corners on it, and I put the circle on there just to give it a little bit more interest. And there's a little bit too much orange in there, but I'm just going to keep it because that looks quite good. And so with this one, I'm just kind of like going to go maybe just there, and maybe just a wee bit round the edges, just to age it up a bit. Now we're going to age it a little bit more because I've got a fine grit and a heavy grit. Under this piece is brown, but obviously it had the white on it, so you can either take it to the white when you sand it, or wet distress it back to the white. So if you wanted to wet distress, you would just get your cloth and just rub it like that, and that will take it to the white. But I'm wanting to go right down to the wood, so like that. Now you don't want to go crazy with this. This is where, you know, caution. Just here and there. I still need to do my yellow across there. I've forgotten that part. So here I want to do, I really want this chipped look at the top. Can you see that? That close up in that mountain? The more you kind of take away, just here and there, do not sand all your edges. That's not how, you know, it would be distressed through the years. That just here or there, where it's been bumped and banged, that's probably enough for there. And maybe a little bit round here, I can just bring back some of the white. Don't worry about these scratch marks, they'll come off when you lacquer it. Some white there, and maybe a bit heavier here. So I'm going to go on and I'm going to distress the rest of this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply furniture lacquer over the top of it. Now these are still live, you have to be really careful. One coat over them quickly, don't labour the point and brush it, you'll set them off again and they'll all run. One quick down your inlays, boom, don't touch them again. You can spray varnish them first with spray lacquer and let it dry and then do it, or you can wax them, but again, don't be waxing crazy, just wax, leave, because you'll start and they'll start running. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to lacquer it, and then I'm going to apply some dark wax in these edges here and possibly some of this jade colour. So I'm in my bathroom, and what I'm actually going to show you is the Bella stamp that we put on the piece of furniture, how easy it is to just do something in your home. This is reclaimed wood that I've had here for a wee while, and I distressed it, made it look aged and a bit dirty, and I just put a wee shelf on it. It was kind of rough and ready, but that was what I was looking for at the time. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stamp it with the Bella stamp. I've never quite filmed anything in my bath before, but this is where I am. So I'm going to start this edge over here, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp. Just the same way. I'm using a little tiny table, so we'll see how that goes. Again, these are not the smoothest planks of wood to work on, so it's probably going to come out just a little bit like it's a little bit distressed, but that's okay. I don't mind that. If you've got nice smooth walls, then this will be easy. So I'm just going to do my next one here, and then I'm going to fill the top row with the fancy schmancy bit that goes in the middle. So I'm just going to work along this top row first. Off camera I was just doing a little bit of playing and planning just to see where I was going to go. I couldn't quite fit two down this way before I hit the roll top bath, so I'm just going to do in between these ones like this, and I just wanted to see what the sort of floral element looked like in the middle. So I'm just going to, you know, like kind of almost just position that there. because there's the other stamps that we can put on the top of here, so I'm not too worried about that. The blue is slightly more china blue than my navy blue, but I'm not too bothered about that. There's other blues in the room, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, so I'll show you how I stamped this one in the middle, and then I'll do a little bit more off camera because it must be quite boring. I think it's going to be nice when it's done, and this is what I was trying to explain. Really, these, because of the sheer size of them, they really are going to lend themselves to wall decor. Now, I could have kept this on the stamp, but I wanted to just put it in by hand. So because of the wooden boards, I want to be able to press it underneath so that it all starts stamping. There. Okay, so I've done the stamping all the way along. I've added the sort of triangle shape that's in the Bella stamp at the top, and this is my last one. And I really like it. I'm going to go and do the rest at some point, but it was just to give you a show of how it looked. I'm really pleased with it. So I'm just going to sort everything out and get the ink off my bath, and we'll take some photos of it. Okay, so it's finished. It literally took me about 20 minutes. It doesn't take long. It has maximum impact. The Bella stamp is fantastic. And as you can see, it's really versatile. With the first piece, we made a piece of furniture. We added the inlays and all the different bits and pieces to create a piece of furniture. And at this point in time, we've just used it again to make a feature wall in a small bathroom. You could do a big wall if you wanted to, and you can put it in lots of different variations, different connotations of how you want to put it. It's a really versatile stamp, the Bella stamp. So I've been Lel from Made by Marley, and this has been a video for IOD. And if you want to hop over to my channel at Made by Marley, you can see other furniture art.